Now this is a screen that we're going to be met with when we first turn on the vehicle here. We've got our map settings, we've got the current station that we're tuned to. We can add a phone down here, or if our phone's connected, it would show up here. And then we can turn the heated steering wheel on or off from here. Off to the bottom here, we've got our audio sources, or our audio settings, I should say. So we can choose between sources, AM, FM, Sirius, CD. Oh, I know, how old school is that? We do have a CD player in this vehicle here, which is a little bit nostalgic, but that's the reason why we're looking at the Bullitt, right? Nostalgia. Jumping back here. All right, now as you can see here, we can jump between different sources, and we've now got a series of different presets available here. In order to be able to set up a preset, all you're gonna do is tune to the station that you wanna have. So we can either tune using this knob here, or we can tune using direct tune here. So we're gonna tune to the station that we'd like to and hit enter. And as you can see there, we've now tuned to our station. So in order to save that as a preset, all we're gonna do is press and hold. And as you can see, it's now saved in our presets here. Moving down to our climate settings, we've got a ton of options here now. We've got an auto setting, which is going to let the vehicle determine what the cabin temperature should be. Our menu setting here gives us either max air conditioning, our max windshield defroster, or our heated steering wheel. We can turn the system on or off. Now, as you can see here, it is dual zone climate control. So you can see just at the bottom here, a tiny little bit, we've got our driver and passenger side, so individual settings there. And let's see, so let's say if the driver likes it a little bit colder, passenger likes it a little bit warmer. As you can see here, we've now got dual zone activated, but we've got driver side low and passenger side a little bit higher. So the cabin temperature is going to be slightly different. If we want to default to the driver, all we're going to do is hit that dual button there, and it's automatically going to take the driver side setting over. Adjusting the fan, we can go up or down as necessary here. We can blow the fan to the windshield, to our face, or to our feet. Circulation button is either going to pull air from outside the vehicle, or it's going to circulate it through the cabin. Rear windshield defroster, and then we've got our air conditioner on there. Next up, we've got our phone setting there. So phones, in order to add a phone, it's very, very straightforward there. All we're going to do in order to add a phone is press the button here.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
And on your phone, you're going to make sure that Bluetooth is turned on. And in a second here, as you can see, we've now got Ford Mustang. We're just going to select Ford Mustang here.
Confirm that the pin displayed on sync matches the
And
pin
pair,
displayed
that's
on your
right.
device.
We're going to allow.
For your safety, please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
And there we go. So as you can see, the phone is now connected. 911 assist. So the 911 assist is only active when your cell phone's connected. It's not going to work otherwise. So let's turn that on and hit finish. And as you can see, the phone is now connected. So we can look at my recent calls, contacts, etc. In order to be able to remove a phone from the vehicle now, what we're going to do is go from phone into settings. And if we jump into phone here, so you can see we've got a number of different options there. So we can mute audio. Big one is going to be for view devices here. So a list of devices that have been set up on the vehicle. If we want to change or modify any settings, click on there. We can either disconnect or completely remove. And as you can see, the phone is now off of the vehicle. We can add another one back in again. Vehicle is equipped with navigation. So jumping into our navigation settings there, as you can see, this is going to be the map here. Clicking on search. So search, we can do a couple different things. Start by typing off the address that you'd like to go to, and then give it a second as you type because it will update as we go. So this is going to be the address we're going to, which is the location of the dealership. And there we go. So we can now save it as a favorite, or we can start the trip.
Obey traffic laws, be alert, and use voice commands while driving.
There we go.
Please proceed to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will start.
Now very, very far. We're going a full 20 meters. In order to be able to cancel the current navigation that we've got going on, all we're going to do is press this X button at the top, and yes, cancel the route. And controls up here. Now jumping into menu, we've got a couple other options. We can change the view that we'd like. The big one is going to be our navigation settings. Starting off here, we've got our map preferences. And as that loads up here, so we can turn a couple things off, I should say. The big one's going to be our point of interest icons. So coming up with things like gas stations or coffee shops, things like that, we can add those in there. Jumping back to our route preferences now. Now, if you're the type of driver that you don't necessarily like the fastest route, maybe you like the shortest, we can change up our preferred route there. Or Jumping to the bottom here, we can avoid freeways or toll roads. So if you don't want to jump on the 407 or any other toll road, we can avoid them here. And the navigation is going to take that into account when it plots your route. Last up is going to be navigation preferences, which are our guidance prompts. And that's going to be the difference between the voice that we get and the tones, the voice only or the tone. So as we come closer to the next move that we have to make, what happens? That's going to be navigation in a nutshell. If you want to set up your home or work, you can also do that from here. Moving into our apps now. Now, these are going to be for our mobile apps or certain apps built into the vehicle. So our mobile apps that we're going to use are going to be things like the Waze app or Spotify, and you can play that directly through the center console here. But your phone does need to be connected either through Bluetooth or physically plugging in. Moving to our generic settings here, we've got our sound settings, which are going to give us the treble, mid-range bass, fade, etc. Moving into our clock settings now. Clock is going to be default 12-hour time, so we've got our AM, PM. If you prefer the military time, all we're going to do is press this button here, and then as you can see, we're now in military time versus our AM, PM. Next up, we've got our auto daylight savings time, which is going to automatically update the time of the clock depending on whether it's spring or fall. Next up, and then from there, we've got our time zone update. So our time zone update is automatically going to update the time zone for you, or the time of the vehicle, I should say, based off of the zone that you're in. So let's say you're heading out to the West Coast or the East Coast, it's automatically going to update you as you go. Bluetooth from here, so we can turn Bluetooth off altogether. We can find additional devices, so setting up an MP3 player that's Bluetooth compatible. Back into our phone settings.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
This is where we can go to add a phone in from there. Next up, we've got our radio. So the radio text is going to be the text that we see here. So whether or not that shows, your call there. So you can set it up so that it doesn't show by deselecting that. 911 assist, as I mentioned, you do have to have your phone connected in order for 911 assist to work. Navigation, we're back into our map preferences there. Mobile apps, there are certain apps that can be used, but obviously you have to be connected in order for them to work. Screen over, we've now got our general settings here. General settings, we can choose between our language, so whether that's English, Spanish, or French. Our temperature, so Celsius versus Fahrenheit. Measurements, so miles or kilometers. Our touchscreen beep, so this beeping that we're getting, we can turn that off here. Next up is going to be our automatic system updates and our master reset. So if you're selling your vehicle, running into weird glitches, etc., you want to reset, you can do that here. Moving over, we've now got our Wi-Fi and automatic updates. So you need to be connected to Wi-Fi in order for the automatic updates to work. I do highly recommend keeping that on because it's going to automatically update the firmware and software in the vehicle, with the exception, it's not going to upgrade the navigation. You either have to do that yourself or have the dealership do that for you when your vehicle's in for service. Ford Pass Connect, the vehicle does have a built-in modem here, so you can use it as a hotspot and you can connect up to 10 devices on the vehicle. You do need a separate data plan in order for that to work. Moving back here, we've got some vehicle settings now. Vehicle settings, we've just got camera settings and then our onboard serial number. Display here, we can turn the display off completely. Touch to turn it back on. Background, we can change our background if we want to. So we've got a couple different options there. And then next up is going to be our mode. So we're in daytime mode right now, versus if we look at our nighttime settings, takes a second for it to update. There we go. So I personally am a bigger fan of that nighttime mode in comparison. So I would personally leave this on all the time, but it's all a matter of personal preference. By having it on auto, it's going to automatically switch between the daytime versus the nighttime mode, depending on the time of day. Moving over, we've now got our voice control settings. So we've got advanced mode. Advanced mode is going to mean that you don't get quite as many prompts throughout different parts of the vehicle. So if we press our voice prompt button here, tune to 97.7.
Tuning to FM 97.7.
So as you can see, we got a little message there letting us know that it's tuning to a station. Now, if we turn on advanced mode and do the same thing, tune to 94.9. So we've now changed stations Jumping back here, so you can see we've now changed stations and we didn't get that extra prompt. So I do recommend keeping advanced mode on because you don't get quite as many prompts. The phone confirmation is going to be whether or not we get a confirmation of the phone number that we're dialing. And the last one is going to be our voice command list. So pressing that voice button again, this is going to be our voice command list. So if you don't like that screen coming up, you would just turn it off here. Last up is going to be our valet mode. Valet mode essentially locks the screen out so that people can't go through and play around with different settings. If your phone's connected, they can't look at your contacts, etc. So all we're going to do is set up a 4-digit PIN number. Nice and difficult. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Done. And as you can see here, everything is now locked out. So you can't do anything. You can't look at phone numbers. You can't do anything here until you re-enter that 4-digit combination.